Welcome along to another video ahead of the coaching symposium with Matt Bradbury Sports in mid-July. Delighted to say that today we are joined by Mark Briggs, who's Director of Partnerships for Nimbus Disability. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning, Chris. Good to meet you. Good to see Matt as well after a good few years.
And of course, that Matt is here as well. Matt, I mean, we've just got over a couple of weeks ago the national finals and showcase weekend with ice hockey, and already the league makeups have come out for next season. So there's no rest for the wicked, is there?
No. Off season is what is an off season? That's the thing. Nobody knows what the off season looks like. It just all rolls into one, and it's been some busy times for a lot of hockey coaches. So a little bit of downtime, and then planning and prepping already for next season.
Yeah, it's going to come round before we know it. Mark, just give us a bit of background about yourself within the sport. How did it all start? How have you got from the very beginning to kind of where you are now?
Wow, it's a story and a journey that starts way back in 2001, and it purely was an opportunity, a chance that arose while shopping in Asda, of all places, in Forest Town, and a great individual that Matt probably remembers quite well was Bill Levick, who was one of the creators of the sport nationally and internationally of para ice hockey, or sledge hockey as it was back then. And yeah, I literally bumped into him while shopping, and he said, "You're a big guy. Do you fancy coming and hitting some people on some ice?" And I was somewhat taken away by that. I thought it was quite strange at first. But it was at a time when things were changing so much in Nottingham, because we'd had a huge investment to create the National Ice Arena from what was, as I'm sure Matt will confirm, quite a dilapidated ice rink previously. But it was home of the Panthers, and para ice hockey had got this fantastic funding to start out of the new arena, and Bill was pulling it all together. So I was shopping one night. A week later, I literally was on ice with a bag full of kit, being told to welcome to the team.
Welcome to the team. Get out there and hit a few people.
Yeah, exactly. And I did, to be honest.
I mean, and you've gone on to captain GB Para Ice Hockey and have quite a career within the sport as well.
Yeah, I mean, really, from that first evening, a year later, both myself, Gary Farmer, who I think we're going to see at the symposium as well, and Richard Whitehead, who's become nationally and internationally renowned as an athlete on the track and on the roads more than anything. We all started on the same night, and we all got selected for GB. That, like I say, in 2002, and we went on from there, and eventually I ended up captaining the team. I think 2008 through 2011.
It's such a. I mean, I've only seen behind the scenes of one para hockey game, but it seems such an operation, because see everyone's there in the wheelchairs, and there's people there helping them, because everyone's like sledge is slightly different depending on, they might only have one leg, neither leg, both legs. They're all different, and then you've got next to the entrance door is just a not a pile, but a load of prosthetic legs kind of lined up, and people's wheelchairs there as well. It's quite a big operation to get each game on.
It is, and I think that is the leveler that para ice hockey brings, because you leave your disability behind. When you're on that ice, you are in your custom sledges. You're 10 centimeters from the ground. You've got two sticks, and that's it. You're completely level, and that non-disabled people play alongside at club level disabled people in the sport. And I think that's the other good thing as well, because you do just leave it all off the ice, and you just are there as a team and as competitors. So, and I think it's good for spectators to see that as well. that it's one thing that disability sometimes is hidden out of the public eye. But when you see para ice hockey come into that fruition of, like say, of just prosthetics leaning up, of chairs just at the side of the rink, that is the absolute level of the sport. One of the things that makes it, for me, one of the best para sports out there.
I suppose the only difference is the strength of somebody's arms to be able to pull themselves along. But I mean, what shook me was the sheer speed and power they can get into the puck with a stick that's only 20-30 centimeters long, and you're sitting down, and it can really whip it at some speed.
Absolutely, there's some amazing shooters out there, particularly as the sport's advanced as well. It's there's different skills associated with how to puck control versus what is non-disabled hockey, as in ice hockey, because we're not doing slap shots to say. We're controlling obviously between two hands, so we have to be ambidextrous. We do have metal spikes on the end of the sticks that make us push, enable us to push. But equally, that's all part of. I mean, you get off the ice and you're covered in scratches and gouges from stabbings, and again you're low to the ice as well. So it's not uncommon to be getting pucks to the head, to the ear, and to the neck and things like that. So which is another great thing about it being a para sport, because it's, disabled people aren't there to be wrapped in cotton wool. We're out there to have a good time, like I say, to check people, obviously within the rules of the game, but it's a great level, and I think both participants and spectators get that out of it.
And Matt, we thought that able-bodied ice hockey players were tough, and the para players come in and just kind of put us to shame, so to speak, in many respects.
To be fair, what Mark just said is quite scary. I didn't realise, the gouging and all this kind of stuff. It sounds a bit too dangerous for me, and I'd need the cotton wool to be wrapped up in. To be fair. But no, Mark. I mean, like I say, Mark's been around the old rink, the current rink, the National Ice Centre, and I always said, as part of the symposium, I was always keen to get people that have been part of the journey, my journey. And I've known Mark, Gary Farmer, Richard Whitehead, and those guys for years and years, since they played the sledge hockey, and it's just going to be great to catch up on the weekend, and for Mark and Gary to share their story with all the coaches that are in attendance. They're a great bunch of guys, and it should be some real fun, and there should be some good stories as well.
Mark,
Absolutely.
how has we've seen, just in everyday life, so to speak, the kind of accessibility and far more awareness around the para sports, disabilities, that sort of thing. How has the sport, or the ease of playing the sport, getting into the sport, for example, changed since you started to now?
I think para sport across the board has become something that's far more on topic. So 2012 brought so many opportunities to understand what sport was out there. So things like para ice hockey, wheelchair rugby, the team sports have become far more on the headlines, let's say, and I think that's attracted more people to look and seek out. I still don't think we're doing it quite as well as we can do, but we're doing it fantastically well. But it's enabled some clubs. I mean, the Nottingham team that we created, we kind of had about 8 or 12 key players at that point, so possibly 2 lines if we ever got everybody there. But clubs like Sheffield Steel Kings now are getting 30, 40 people turn up every Friday night. So, which is a great accolade to the way that the sport continues to develop in the UK. But yeah, I think it's far more on topic. I think it's breaking down those barriers as well, because on top of 2012 came things like the last leg. So you'd got more about that normalization as to what disability is, and the opportunity to participate and have those conversations as well. So as I say, still quite a lot of things to do, but actually we can celebrate a heck of a lot of things that we are doing now to make the UK far more accessible in sporting, cultural, and creative activities.
Just a good point you brought up there with the last leg. It's becoming much more visible, isn't it? I think people are seeing, because there was a time where there were, you know, bad stereotypes around it, and they were kind of shunned is perhaps the wrong word, but not treated as equals, anybody with a disability. And now it's becoming much more visible, and it is, as you say, there is still work to go, but it is improving all the time.
Absolutely, yeah. I like I say, it is the normalization almost. I mean, Richard's appeared on Celebrity Hunted and things like that. You know, to have that inclusive way that we do have the media. But equally, hopefully, what we're trying to do through the power of sport and so forth is make disabled people's lives one of the opportunity that I had when I met Bill Levick in Asda. It was an opportunistic time in my life. What we can do is try and make sure that it's not opportunistic for disabled people going forward. So the way that we have more outward facing, accessible and inclusive sports, so you don't actually just have to bump into somebody, you can actually understand and seek what's out there. So that's why it's important, I think, to make sure that people from public services to NHS to coaches understand that we can have inclusive and accessible opportunities.
So without giving too much away, and I'm sure we've touched on a couple of issues here, what are we going to expect from you at the symposium?
Well, I think it's kind of expanding on those conversations. Actually, it is, how do we ensure that sport is not just opportunistic? Is that we have mechanisms and the ability and creative thinking to ensure that clubs can become accessible, that actually the way that we coach can be creative and include everybody. So I think there's a lot of deeper delving in there, but again, it's reflecting on my story, Gary's story, and seeing how that can really get those light bulb moments for everybody that's in attendance.
I mean, Matt, those stories that we're going to hear over the course of the weekend, as well as the insights into coaching and the talks, are going to be fabulous. I know time is severely running out to sign up for this symposium. If you need accommodation at the University of Nottingham, then your deadline is this Friday, which is the 21st of June. And then the complete cutoff for people to attend is the following Friday, the 28th. You must be getting into the time where you're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and finishing off the last few bits.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it now is making sure I've got all the data I need to communicate with all the coaches, and we've already started things like WhatsApp groups and things like that, because obviously it's a lot easier for the communication across the board. But yeah, so it's coming around very quickly now, and got a few more meetings. I'm meeting at the National Eye Centre this week. Got some more meetings ahead. Obviously, it'd be great to bring a couple more interviews as well. So hopefully get a couple more done of those. And yeah, it's really exciting. And if we can get a couple more speakers on board, even better. So we're going to work right to the last minute.
So if people haven't yet signed up to come to this symposium, let them know about the website and the social media they need to go to.
Yeah, it's all online. I've got the website, which is www.mattbradburysports.com. I've got all of the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, X, and TikTok. So everything's there online. Get in touch, and if you've got any questions or queries, you can find all my details online.
Yeah, well, Matt has forgotten what he asks all of our guests, so we'll ask you, Mark, if you're on TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok, unfortunately. I think that one's passed me by a little bit, so I'm not a social media guru to that extent.
No, yeah, I think you've got the safe option, Mark. You're a Facebook guy. He's on the safe one. It's
I am indeed, Matt.
and very good it is as well. So it's good to, like you say, without it's just great to be able to catch up with these guys after, I was just talking at the weekend with people saying that the affinity that ice hockey actually has over many, many sports. And, if you look at some of the, sometimes you'll catch up with some of the guys that you've worked with and it's only like you've just seen them yesterday. And I think that is the beauty of our sport. You know what I mean? When we do catch up, it's really a strong bond, and I think that is right the way one of the unique things about ice hockey in general across the board.
Indeed, and I just finish off by the opportunity that ice hockey, that para ice hockey gave me has enabled not just myself, but Gary Farmer is a colleague of mine. Our managing director, just sitting there, is a former GB para ice hockey player, and this is enabling us to take what we learned through sport and actually make a difference nationally and internationally for disabled people. So that is the absolute power of sport.
Yeah, Mark, it's been great to chat to you this morning. We look forward to seeing you now in just 4 weeks' time in that symposium up in Nottingham. It's going to be a great weekend. As we said, if you haven't already booked on and you need accommodation, you've only got until this Friday, the 21st, and the deadline for applications and signing up is the 28th of June. That's a week on Friday. So if you're still umming and ahhing about it, then make sure you do go on and sign up and join us on what should be a fabulous weekend. Mark, thanks so much for your time this morning, and we'll see you in Nottingham.
You're very welcome. Looking forward to it.